let me just read this. This Ukrainian soldier has a letter to Americans. America, I have a question for you. You choose Trump as your president. That we did. We did elect him. Correct. Today he called the world's #1 terrorist, not for justice, but to negotiate, treating him like a legitimate leader. How do I feel about that? I feel like I want our leader to be able to talk and negotiate with any person, regardless of their of their label, regardless of their label, and be able to talk to them like a person and see if they can't work out a deal. That's in the best interest for America. That's what I feel. Would you accept a president calling bin Laden after 9/11, sitting down with ISIS? Because that's exactly what just happened. Yes, I actually would. And to try to negotiate a deal that is in the betterment of America, I still would do that. I've buried brothers because of Putin, seen civilians executed and children crushed, families wiped out, and yet Trump, your leader, gave that monster a seat at the table. Well, the only way you're going to end this is by treating that monster like a person. And if you continue to treat him like a monster and use those emotional language, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to see more families being wiped out, more children crushed, and more civil executions. For 3 years, Ukraine has fought for survival, on the front lines, for freedom. Americans have stood with us. I'm not gonna lie, not a lot of Americans have stood with you, but it's really been our money and our government. That's what you're grateful for. I don't think you really care too much, like a warrior out in Ukraine. I don't think he cares if you have a Ukrainian flag in your bio. I don't think he cares, or if you have a flag in your front lawn. What I do think he cares about, and why he's bringing up Trump, is the amount of money and resources and guns and things that we were sending over there to fuel this European war. That's what I think. But now, your president stands with our enemy. And that's what's more, just emotional language where it's just like, why, if you keep calling Putin this monster, this low IQ individual, or you associate him like that, you're not going to get anywhere. In India, we don't see a Putin as an oppressor. So I ask again, America, how do I feel about this? I think that this is a European issue, not an American one. But apparently, Europe wants to keep funding the war. Good on them. But we aren't funding it anymore. And that's how I feel about this. Should America help out in global conflicts and things like that? I think so long though that it's in the betterment of humanity, absolutely, right? But I feel like a lot of times we like to show that we're doing some things for the benefit of the humanity, like these 4 little things over here. But on the other side, we have this whole area of just dark, murky water things that we've been funding for corruption, for government overthrows, for just so much grossness. Space Cadet over here says, I can't imagine how our support in the war helps the poor and middle class in America. Once more, this is it's our money that's being taxed and sent over there, and that money's supposed to be for helping us. And if our government didn't, give the people $750, but actually gave them real money to help get back on their feet in terms of Hawaii, North Carolina, now California. We have Flint, Michigan. We have Ohio. All of these places are legitimately being ran to the ground. The whole state of California, New York included in this. And our government isn't helping, and they're just sending more of our money away from the states. It's so frustrating. Let's end this war by negotiating peace. We can make it right, not what was done in March of 2022. Sign a peace agreement, do not join NATO, stay neutral, and make peace a reality. I don't understand how this last one is so hard for both sides. Okay, this Southern Gator, that's my man. He's just sort of say it how it is. Not going to be sugar-coated. I hope this doesn't come across, I hope there's nothing too crazy in here. First off, get off your high horse, soldier boy. Man, I feel like also that low-key this soldier's probably a bot. But Trump's meeting with Putin isn't about giving a monster a seat at the table. It's about diplomacy. You know, the thing where countries talk to avoid blowing each other up, or at least the continuation of blowing each other up, because Russia and Ukraine have been blowing each other up. We would like for them to stop. You think calling someone a terrorist is refusing dialogue solves shit? Look around, buddy. Your country's in shambles because no one is talking. They're just shooting. Trump isn't standing with your enemy. He's trying to navigate through a geopolitical minefield that you're too busy in your foxhole to see. I mean, yeah. So let's talk about your comparison to Bin Laden or ISIS. Lastly, I checked, Putin isn't flying planes into skyscrapers or beheading people on video. I think we've seen enough drone footage, though, of like drones with C4 slapped on it, blowing up soldiers, so I don't know if this is going to be the best example. He's a leader of a nation, not a stateless terror group. Fair right there. Negotiations with head of states, even when you despise, is a part of the job. Also true. If you think every problem could be solved with a gun or a condemnation, then you're a part of the problem. And in fact, you are the problem if you think every problem can be solved with a gun or condemnation. Actually true. And we can also add another one in here. Condemnation kind of works in this, but oppression. You guys know how I feel about this. If you live in a society where you want to oppress other people's words or censor other people's words, just be patient, because eventually you too will be oppressed and censored, and you're not going to be given the same empathy that you want, but you're not willing to give. As for the 3 years of fighting for survival, yeah, it's tragic, but blaming America's president for your war isn't going to rebuild your cities or bring back your dead. I gotta turn that off for a second. Maybe if leaders had been talking instead of posturing, things might have gone differently. So here's the deal. America doesn't owe you an explanation for our foreign policy, especially not someone in the trenches. We elect our leaders, and whether you like it or not, Trump's actions are ours to judge, not yours. You could form yeah, sure. He's not wrong. So your self-righteous anger for the battlefield, leave the diplomacy to those who might actually end this nightmare, and not for prolonged bloodshed. Yeah, this is just Twitter warriors going off, but I wonder the legitimacy of like how much of this guy is actually like a fighter and a soldier, and how much of it is just for show. But regardless, if he is a legit warrior, fighting as soldier, my heart goes out to him. He's probably seen some shit that I would never see, never would I want to see, nor would I wish for anyone to see. And he's probably lost some brothers, some sisters, and that's just something that no one wants to go through. But at the end of the day, I don't think this guy cares if you have a Ukrainian flag in your bio. I think he's just frustrated with the American government not sending guns, not sending ammo, not sending bombs, and things along those lines. That's honestly what I think. If Ukraine is going to bring Putin's enemy to his borders, there will be repercussions? Yeah. Absolutely.